All right. Welcome back, guys, to the multiverse. Holy shit. Look at that. Good Lord. Will you look at that? Will you look at that? You guys seen that? I don't know if he's a YouTuber or what, but he has that mullet kind of look and like sweaters and stuff. And like his best video, or my favorite one anyway, is like he goes up to a bench and there's two guys sitting there and he goes, "Will you look at that? Will you look at that sunset? It's beautiful." And then one of the guys who's sitting there is like, "Yeah, it's beautiful. Would you leave us alone?" And then the guy just keeps on with like, "Will you look at that? Will you look at that? It's so beautiful." And the guy's like, "Yeah, we're trying to enjoy it. We're trying to enjoy the beautiful sunset." And, and then the guy just relentlessly, but look at that. Would you look at that? It's good. It's good. You gotta just, you know what? Go onto the interwebs and type in "Will you look at that?" and you'll find it, because he's done all kinds of, he's branched out since then as well. Um, so anyway, would you look at that? Like, holy crap. And I believe all of this is like Popcat. I'm pretty sure this is all one man, and it's Popcat. And he's been doing this little by little throughout the game. Just like, look at that. I've never seen anything like this. He literally has the entire ocean covered. Like, no one's getting through there without him knowing it. And so, and he's moving, by the way, down into the South Atlantic as well, down into here. He's moving. Look at that. He's got all these groups that are coming out, and they're all just going to go fanning out. Like, dude, this is cool. It gives us vision. It's like if you're familiar with StarCraft 2 at all, it's like the creep. The creep is what the Zerg use to transform the landscape so that they're faster, they can spawn stuff, they can burrow, and this is like the creep. Like, Popcat is sending out so many guys that we have vision everywhere. So pretty cool. So a couple of things that are going on right now. This giant, massive exodus is South Carolina, who I have not been in touch with, but some of my alliance mates have been, my coalition mates have been in touch with him, and he's claiming that he's leaving the game. So he's just yeeting his guys, I guess, out to the ocean. It's a little bit, makes me a little paranoid. That's hundreds of guys here coming down and past and through our sort of underbelly here. Not particularly our underbelly per se, because there's a lot of fighting people down here who are actively sort of engaged in warfare down here. And especially at the sharp end of that spear, there's, thousands of guys here at the front that can turn around if they have to, but it's still a little bit harrowing. It's a little bit freaky to think about. We just got through having a standoff over here with Euclid. Papa Smitty and Euclid down here had a bit of a standoff, but what happened was, look, China's gone. What the hell? Why? Why is China gone? So this is, Central Sichuan, but it's actually the name of the guy is China, right? So it's like, he's gone. And it's, what a weird dance this has been. So he came on early and got attacked by everyone around him and sort of hung in there, and then left the game, and then came back and ended up persevering against the neighbors around him, and then ended up making deals with everybody around him and taking all of their territory for free, and then striking westward at a breakneck pace, and to a point where we were a little bit worried about that. And then now he's gone. It's like, what? Because honestly, Euclid with Sichuan and Big Bob up here, they together, even though they didn't proclaim an active alliance, we knew that they were in cahoots with each other. And so they posed a serious threat, especially if they were to happen to sort of gather together with these other people up here who are active and large. So I don't know what happened, China. Like, brah, what the fuck, man? So anyway, this standoff is ending down here. You can see I brought my planes. I brought my planes down here. I like my planes. And so he was attacking with bombers because bombers can reach from over here, which is Euclid here. I keep calling him Euclid. Sorry, Euclid. No, Euclid is Euclid of Euclid. Holy crappity. Yeah, Euclid, of course. I'm a mathematician, so I know me some Euclid. I know who Euclid is. So I came down here with my whole Air Force to kind of help counter that. And right now what I'm doing is my favorite defensive formation, which is the defensive flower. I love it. I love it because anybody who comes in here gets attacked by various, a lot of individual aircraft. And each of those attack on their own time. So um, it's just sort of an ongoing thing where you're just constantly attacked. It's like walking into a swarm of bees is how I look at it. So it's a great defensive strategy. And I did see that Papa Smitty moved his planes into that same sort of thing over here. And then as I continue to stream down more planes, I went ahead and set them up defensively here, although no bomber can reach all the way over to here, so it's not really necessary. Depending on how things shape up over here, I'll probably leave a significant air presence here, but I will probably be moving them up and over to help in central, I guess this is, I say central, this is Eastern Asia, sort of Eurasia here, isn't it? So having a Air Force over here could be helpful, but one of the things is I wonder, yeah, he's got airfields, good. So that's good. He's doing his own air thing, and that's always very encouraging because that means I know he's got airfields to keep his own air, give his own air access to the front. So that means I'll have access to the front as well. So probably be moving a big stack of bombers and fighters to that new theater, while still leaving enough back here to be, a deterrent in terms of any kind of Navy that comes this way. We definitely want to have deterrent there. And of course, Papa Smitty has a naval presence here. So do I. That's what this is. I don't want to zoom too much in on this. And maybe you saw some other defensive units in that zone that I'm not going to expand upon. But anyway, so that theater is going pretty well. We're also fighting here in South America, and Benaya here is just sort of continuing to move southward. I think I did mention that we had some friendly relations with West Ecuador. So as of right now, I do have share map with him, which is sort of the gold standard for trust. It's like we're not, we don't have room to have another full partner here, but when we share maps together, that's how we know that we trust each other and we want to have, long-term friendship, So that's kind of going on over here until it's, proven elsewise to me. This guy seems like a straight shooter. And so we're already kind of moving in. I'll show you one of the engagements that's about to happen down here is, already did happen, I believe. Yeah. Took out 7 of his bombers here with my fighters, who are right here. And yep, it looks like they may be about to attack again in 4 minutes. The new air mechanic is a little confusing, not in how it works, but in how it looks, right? Visually, it's a little bit weird. And also, the relocating thing. So as far as I know, he might be relocating back to the airfield to refuel because he already attacked, right? So he just got through attacking this big stack of bombers, and he may be landing in 4 minutes. So that's one of the problems with this is when you click on your planes to attack, it doesn't tell you how soon they'll get there necessarily because, you're going airfield to airfield, especially if you're attacking, let's say you're attacking from somewhere in West South America all the way over to East South America. So it's going to be a while. You're going to hop a bunch of airfields to get there to attack. Well, there's no way to look and see when you'll get there. So the only way you can, in fact, do that is when you actually attack and you click attack, there'll be this little floaty thing that will come up, 2 days and 3 hours, So you can know when it's going to attack from that, but not from the hover menu. So, for instance, I hover up above here. I know I'll get there at 3:43 and 24 seconds a.m., but it doesn't work with the air. The air is a little bit persnickety when it comes to that. But anyway, so I did fly in here with my defensive force in this region. I lost 1 fighter, and he lost, as we saw before, 7 bombers. 7 bombers. So that to me is realistic. That's what happens. I had a game recently where I had, I think it was in the Multiverse, actually. Not sure. Yeah. No, it was, it was. It was in the Multiverse. It was over here, by God. Yeah, I attacked, in fact, yeah, it was right over here. I attacked a group of bombers with a big group of fighters. And I believe my air damage was something like 130. And his air damage, because it was a big group of bombers rather, was like 18 or something, right? So like 130 versus 18. He lost 3 bombers. I lost 2 fighters. And I'm like, what? What? Like, how can that much air, just sheer, buzzsaw of like deadly air attack, 130 damage, go up against 18 and it be almost even? So this game surprises me sometimes. I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? But this is what I'm talking about. So I attacked in with 18 fighters against 19 bombers. I lost 1, he lost 7. Yes, that's what the actual attack damages would be, about 1 to 7 like that, right? I mean, honestly, just in terms of the numbers, the mathematics, this engagement makes sense because, fighters are designed to attack in the air. They attack at 4 each, so each of those 18 were attacking at 4. And, these fighters are pathetic. They don't even attack. They don't even defend at 1. They're like at what, point? Oops, I was already there. Now it's gone. They're at like 0.6 or something for air defense. 0.5, So they're like half of a 1 of defense in terms of, what they can throw out there in the air. And that also is historically accurate. Like we know that those bombers were kind of sitting ducks. They had the tail gunner, they had the belly gunner, and they did their best defensively. But, when it comes to nimble fighters who are just arcing around you, you're going to get torn up unless you have some kind of fighter escort to defend you. So that's a part of this game as well. A lot of times you will mix in fighters with your bombers to keep them from getting shredded. Anyway, so that's what's going on down here. That's been a little bit of fun. I did interact with West Ecuador here. He built a couple airfields so I could get down here. He was having to deal with this bomber stack, so he was happy to help me. So that's the kind of cooperative play that, long-term alliances and friendships are built on. I also do have some bombers in this region. I've been kind of marching down here with Benaya. And I think, once Benaya takes over this whole territory, it will be very interesting because we have the remnants of Africa down here. South Bechuan land. We've been at war with him for a while in Africa over here. That's him again. This is still South Bechuan land, but he's moved his capital over here and seemed to have evacuated most of what he had in Africa over to there, so that'll be very interesting when we reach our way down into that point where we have a frontier with him again. What will happen? I don't know. We'll see. So lastly, I wanted to bring it down to my own home economy. I'm just loving this. You can see I'm not a large country, but what I am is an industrial country. So my whole goal, we've talked about this before, I want my entire, at least the contiguous, right? The adjacent territories here. These down here, maybe not. I mean, they're close enough really to be sort of part of my inland empire, but at least all these, I want all of them to be highly industrial. So let me just give you an example of that. If we come over here, we expect the double to be maxed out, and it is. It's got the railway, it's got the level 4 factory, it has the airfield, so it's maxed out. But this guy, this coal right next door, it's maxed out. Now I could still build an airfield there, but it won't help my economy. Over here, this single, normally I wouldn't have it maxed out. It's maxed out, right? So all the energy, if you make your way over here, here's another oil, maxed out. And I've done that now. So not just with the double territories that you see, but I'm doing it with all the others. Now, gas is not something I've focused on. So you can see I'm moving up to a level 3 factory here. I'll get a level 4 and a railway there as well. And then eventually towards the end, I think, like my building supplies are pretty good, but you can always use more steel. And I use a lot of steel and wood when I'm building these aircraft, which is kind of my job now, is the Air Force support for my, you know, fellow countrymen or whatever the hell. So you can see I'm building railways just about everywhere that there's an energy tile. I'm building something here. I'm building this coal up to a level 4 factory. So I just want to max it out. So my goal, my ultimate goal for my entire homeland here is, I think I mentioned this. I want to make it look like Isengard after Saruman built those industrial orc pits. Remember that you saw Isengard? It's like a circular thing with the Tower of Orthanc in the middle, but like it zoomed back and you could see just like smoke and smokestacks and pits with flames and smoke pouring out of them. Like that's going to be my country, or maybe it'd be like the fucked up, burnt out Skynet cities from the future from Terminator. Like that's what it'll be. It'd just be like this fucking hellscape of iron and steel and concrete and asphalt. Just like that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking fully industrialized hellscape of a fucking production zone for machines of death. I'm thinking like the coal hell industrial London. Like we're talking 1870 London, where it's like if you go Google 1870 London, and it's just like, your vision of early 20th century over industrialized, like just smokestacks everywhere. That's when people would come home from work and like blow their nose and black snot would come out because it's just like coal smoke is just in the air. Formerly white buildings made of sandstone or marble are now like gray, just like fucking huge industrial, and don't forget coal is everywhere. So coal smoke and coal debris and all that shit is just everywhere constantly. I'm thinking like in the Matrix, the machine dominated production heavy industrial zones. You can picture like where they're farming all the people. Like they almost look like giant, it's actually pretty beautiful, like giant berry plants, but each berry is a human, in the pod, providing them with that, with the energy, which combined with a new source of fission, it's like, wait a minute. So wait, we're batteries, but like we're the worst batteries ever because honestly, like we only produce like this tiny emittance of, there is electricity in our brain. There's no question about it, but it's just not that much, but like in the Matrix, like combined with a new kind of fission, they were able to beep, fill in the blanks there. It's like, it's the, they have a name for that. Like the thing that makes everything work that everybody just kind of agrees that we're not going to talk about. Right. Just whatever filler sort of, mulligan, bullshit thing. It's like, oh, okay, that's why everything works in this world. Okay. That's what happens. Great. Okay. That's what's going to happen now. But it's almost like in Star Trek, everything's based on warp speed, or the teleportation. We've talked about that. The transporters in Star Trek. I'm not going to go into this in depth, but they kill you every single time. God damn it. Okay. And I'm standing by that because it's actually an episode of Star Trek where Riker gets there and it should have destroyed his double, but it didn't. So there were two Rikers. And what that means is that, and it makes sense, right? Because in the Star Trek world, they can make anything. They can constitute any kind of food. They can instantly materialize any kind of organic food, any kind of, material. You could have, something constituted. It's like 3D printing, but it's like instantaneous. So they have that technology, right? So what they do is to transport you from one place to another, they scan you with just incredibly accurate scanners that just get you down to every last neuron, every last possible. It will even capture, chemical, impulses that are going from here to there. It'll freeze everything in that matrix of scanning, and then it'll send that to, somewhere, 3 light years away or whatever, possibly even through, quantum entanglement or something, some other kind of really cool, spooky way of getting something somewhere faster than light, whatever. But the point being, it sends it there, and then when it gets there, it reconstitutes it, right? So remember, they have the technology to make organic anything, right? They can make food, they can make, you know, clones of cows, they can make anything, and so they make you, right, exactly as they scanned you over in the alpha quadrant, or where the fuck you are, and so it produces an exact duplicate of you, so exact that you don't even know that you're not you. You're literally in the middle of a thought, and it scans you with those chemical electrical impulses. Everything's in place, everything is perfectly scanned. So as you are reconstituted on the other side in the beta quadrant, you complete that thought. But here's the killer: back in the alpha quadrant, the original you gets disintegrated. That's what happens. You don't get transported. You get scanned and then disintegrated. And that's what that thing is, and like it goes all sparkly. That's them dying over and over again as their matrix of being is transmitted somewhere else, and then that is reconstituted over there into a new being, but a new being who doesn't know they're new, because they literally are completing the thought of the person who was just disintegrated, light years away. Like, they're literally, whoever it is that gets reconstituted on the other side, they think they are that person, and for all intents and purposes, they really are that person. They actually really are. They exactly are that person. But the problem is that actual person got killed, and then an exact duplicate, an exact doppelganger with their memories all the way up to the moment they were transported gets put in their place. So, all right, I don't know why I got off on that tangent, but probably had something to do with the fact that I'm going to transform my country into a hellish industrial production military death machine zone. So that's what's happening right now in the multiverse. You can also see it does look like we've got, yeah, look at this. Power of Us is expanding. I like it, because freaking Florida quit after all that. So he threatened to quit, and then he was like, haha, I'm not quitting. And then he didn't quit, and then now I guess he quit. So it's like, God damn it. Jebediah's hanging in there. Oh, look at this. All right, this is Wisconsin, who I believe is Harcold. Yeah, Harcold. Harcold's been coming in and out of a couple games. He's probably busy in his regular life. He is also in our new sub game, which is Us Out of Africa, and he's kind of come and gone from that one as well. So people are busy. I don't know, but he's coming and going. Jebediah is still there, but it does look like Florida's gone, and then West Ecuador down here is continuing to expand, and we knew he would. We could just tell from how he was holding off this entire coalition up there. We knew he was going to be a player to be reckoned with, which is why, in part, when he reached out to us, we were like, yeah, okay, better to have you as a friend than an enemy. That's for damn sure. So, all right, that's about it. You can see we kind of have a stabilized front here between Smith and Euclid, and I kind of played some part in that, at least in terms of if you want to have dozens and dozens of bombers and fighters coming at you, that's not always great. That's not always fun. Although Euclid has a lot of shit. He does. He's got a lot of air and Navy. But I do think he's super concerned that China has ducked out. So that's going to play a part in his calculations moving forward. So again, I'm probably going to move my Air Force up into Eurasia here and see if I can be of use up there. Meanwhile, I still have a significant Air Force down here, which should help, honestly, both Ecuador and Banaya here to mop up and see what's going to happen over here, because I know he took a lot of stuff out of Africa and brought it all the way over here. So he's got some stuff down here, right? It's just, suffice it to say, he's got some stuff. And I don't want to underestimate that. So I've even thought about, oh, geez, what's going on here? Holy crap, Oli. Oh my goodness. Benaya, you beast. Look at that. That's a beefy little navy right there. Holy crap. 6 battleships bolstered by 17 cruisers. Not bad. So he's attacking from the south as well. I like it. Way to go, Benaya. That's one of the things that he can do, because his capital is still back here in Western Africa. He's got a lot of territory up here, all the way up into here. Um, you know, honestly, all the way up into here. So he's got a lot of territory in Europe and West Africa. So he's got to be careful about how far he projects down to here. If you look at a territory like this, you can see it's equalized here at 46% morale. And that's just the nature of the beast. Now, luckily, it's not into rebellion territory, right? You can get so far away from your capital that when you take something, it just stabilizes at rebellion, like at that 33% or less. So he's not there yet, but it is of concern. It's something that we have to be worried about as we expand in this game. It's one of the things that makes this game great. It's like there is a limit on size and expansion, which makes sense because there is a limit on what you can do in terms of supply lines, reinforcement lines, and so forth. And administration, administering a people who have been conquered and that don't want to be conquered. And often there will be some kind of counter-revolutionary or underground effort to oust you. So I love this game. This game has so many layers. All right, I think that's enough for this one. We've had a good time. I am going to make myself into an industrial, just gross, disgusting, coal in the air. Like everyone's going to look like those little miner kids. You know what I'm talking about? They just have soot all over them. Like everybody in my entire country is just going to walk around with soot all over their faces and hair because there's coal smoke everywhere. They just can't even get away from it. It's just going to literally, I already kind of love that there's railways through most of it, not all of it yet, but I'm going to have, and what I'm doing here is you can see I'm doing food last. So if you look at just an average food territory here, it's not going to be heavily dialed in because I've got a lot of food. You can see 90K, 123K, and I've got it all dialed for the wheat right now, which is thousands per hour. So, eventually though, I will get there. I'm just going to do it. And I figured, at a certain point, hey, let's just look at our production because production is fun to look at. So let's go over to, before we leave, province administration. We'll go over to production and just, oh my God. So we got 5 bombers down to the double steel, 5 bombers to the double steel, 5 more bombers. So that's 10 bombers to the third double wheat, 10 bombers. Okay, so that's 10 bombers. And then the rest here, I'm building a lot of cruisers. So I want to have a lot of cruisers. That's 5, 6 cruisers and 5 submarines. So, but my eventual goal is I'm building subs and cruisers because I want to have a fleet down there on the other end of the Suez Canal. Just enough, God, it's slow moving. Just enough over here to be a deterrent to Euclid over here, in addition to what Papa Smitty's got. So Papa Smitty's got a navy of sorts. I say of sorts, it's much bigger than mine. But I've got a decent navy over here. Let me see if I can get close enough to show you. It's nothing huge, but it's decent. It's if you can build around a core of 3 battleships, that's not bad. And then I've got subs, and I've got subs just streaming down as well. So all of these along here are subs coming in, and eventually I'll have a stack, I hope about 40 subs. And 40 subs is a wolf pack. It can go out there and it can headhunt. It can find, even groups of battleships that are, shuttling from one place to another, pick them off. That's a nice stack of subs. But I think moving forward, though, I'm going to slow down the production of naval units and just concentrate entirely on those planes. Recently, I made a push to get fighters because we were having that standoff down in the Arabian Peninsula. And so at one point, I had 21 fighters building at the same time. And it made me feel special. It gave me a warm feeling in my heart. I'm going to be honest with you. It made me think that life is beautiful, just 21 fighters just in the oven, getting ready to come pop on out, and just buzz on down there and just and then attack and destroy bombers and kill lots of people. So anyway, it made me feel good. What I'm saying is eventually all of these you know, most of my production is still on the doubles, right? So if I go to a double, I guarantee you it's ready to produce some kind of bomber or fighter, except for this one because it's iron. I haven't built up my iron entirely because I'm so heavy on the production with that stuff, but I'm going to go ahead while we're here. There's no reason not to max out my building products as well, because you can see I'm not out of control with those, and I'd love to be out of control. I'd love to have those 100K plus. But anyway, you can see most of my doubles down here. Holy crap, there's another one. That is an iron that is not maxed out yet. So I'm going to go ahead and max out. I'm going to go ahead and do that all around. I'll bet a lot of these. Yep, there's a wood that's not maxed out. I've been concentrating primarily on the energy because that is the choke point, let's face it, for any kind of air power that you're going to be building. And yeah, a lot of these are still at level 3. Let's go ahead and build them up. I've got some oil put aside that I can use for these factories. But the point being is, like, even some of these secondary now, like these single oils, which typically wouldn't have building materials, now you can see I can build me some fighters or bombers. It's a level 4 factory and an aerodrome. So many of these singles, a lot of these singles all around here, look at that, ready to go. Level 4 factory, aerodrome. Over here, this single oil, same. So at a certain point, when I shut down my Navy and go full air, I can picture having like a graduating class of 30 fighters just coming out all at one time, you know, or as many as 20 bombers all at one time. And that means every day and a half or so, I'm, you know, and by the way, it never comes out that evenly. So I'm constantly going around and starting new projects. So I've got 5,000 here. I might go back to one of those that I had over here and go ahead and build a fighter. However, I have enough fighters right now. I'll build a fighter because I'm going to leave a bunch down. I'm going to leave a bunch of fighters down on the Arabian Peninsula. So I kind of need some more to send into Eurasia there. All right, that's enough, guys. I've been jabbering long enough, but you can tell this multiverse game is still hot. It's still going, and a lot of interesting stuff is happening now. Although I will say the exit of China is disappointing. We'll see what happens. I think he'll be back because as I've said, he's gone AFK before. He's had the little computers behind him before, and he has come back before. So that's my prediction, that he will be back. But we'll see. That changes things quite a bit. We'll see what's going on over here in terms of this guy over here, the ever-present Bechuan South Bechuan land, who's also now in South America. We'll figure out what happens there. And of course, what's going on in North America, I don't know. I don't believe that Harkold is gone for good either, but maybe he is. And a lot of that stuff's going to make a difference here. Let's go ahead and check the newspaper. We are past the second month. So we are in month 3, right? Month 1 is down, month 2 is down, and we are 6 days into month 3. So we are in this game. We are deep in this game. A lot has gone down, and it's been pretty exciting. We'll keep on casting it if you'll keep on listening. So I'll see y'all next time. Adios, amigos.